The moment you take them off script, they are clueless about how to have a conversation. We're talking about what the Quran says about crucifixion, and he can't answer it. It's not in the script, so he wants to jump to his script that isn't even the topic. Stretched out his hand and touched him and said to him, I do choose. Now please note the arrogance and ignorance of the Muslim who, when I challenge him to a debate, will run like a chicken. So let's talk about the errors in the Quran. Come here, I'll show you one. Oh no, you don't get interrupt me and then say don't put me on camera. So let's talk, let's debate. Let's debate. No, let's debate the errors in the Quran. No, let's talk about the errors in the Quran. Does this Quran have errors in it?
Jesus says in the Bible.
Does this Quran have errors in it?
No, not
right,
one.
Not one. When was crucifixion invented? When was crucifixion invented?
That was a made-up thing invented.
When was made-up thing? Made-up thing, was it? Really? Yeah, now you're demonstrating how ignorant you are.
No, because
crucifixion,
we believe
you don't think crucifixion was a real thing. You don't think crucifixion was a real thing. So there was no such thing as crucifixion.
One second.
This demonstrates how ignorant you are. This is how ignorant you are. Crucifixion is in your Quran. Are you aware of that? Are you aware of that? Crucifixion is in your Quran.
Show me.
Right, okay, let's show you. Let's show you. Let's show you crucifixion is in his Quran. Okay, so the brother doesn't know his own book. He's attacking my book,
I know your book,
but he doesn't know his own book.
I don't know all of it.
So, let me just show you. I'm a Christian, this guy is a Muslim. I was doing a presentation about the Christian faith. He just rudely interrupted. Now I'm going to bust his ass and show him that he doesn't understand his own book. So, let's just do it. I wasn't talking, I was talking about Christianity over there. You interrupted. Surah 12:41. Let's show him. He just said crucifixion isn't in his Quran. Now I'm going to show you how ignorant you are.
Where is it, Surah what?
Surah 12, Ayah 41. Are you listening?
Surah 12, Ayah 41.
Pull it up.
Surah 12, Ayah 41.
Right.
What's the debate about?
We're going to show him a historical error in the Quran. Bring it in, bro. Bring it in, bro.
41.
Bring it in.
41.
Listen.
41.
Yes.
Alright, well, let me read it.
Oh my, yes, right. Listen. Surah 12:41. Oh, my two companions of the prison, as to one of you, he will pour out the wine of his Lord to drink. As for the other, he will hang from the cross. What is it called when you hang someone from the cross? Crucifixion.
But what about he say there's different translations?
Pull up, let's pull up.
Of the English
Let's
text.
let's pull him up. Let's pull him
The
up.
words of the English.
What is it to hang someone from a cross?
Where does it say cross? Show me
There,
cross.
there, look, hang from.
No,
Read it. You read it.
No. Now
Read
you know
it.
what I gotta do?
Read
I gotta
it.
do get someone who knows the Arabic language so he can tell me what that means.
Says
You
means
understand?
crucifixion.
I go by scholars. I don't go by my.
Let me show you scholars. Let me show you scholars. Because you, bro, are busted. And this is how ignorant you are.
This is what a different.
This is how ignorant you are.
Language.
You're ignorant of your Quran.
In English translation can be Allah the most merciful or Allah the most beneficent. So it's the same meaning but just a different wording. So this guy, You don't know Arabic? No, I don't.
Right, so he doesn't know Arabic and he's demanding that we use the Arabic. So let me show him. I'm going to show you you're still wrong, bro.
That's what I mean.
Let me show you you're still wrong. Have some humility. Have some humility.
You have a
Right.
dirty speech.
Let's have a look. Let's look.
With a tongue like yours.
Someone came.
Someone converted to Christianity.
I
But
did just this week.
alhamdulillah,
Just this week.
One person.
Just this week. Just this week. Just this week.
He took him to Jahannam.
This is where
I ain't even got to
Islam
you,
misleads you.
complicated I could just pull you out of natural facts. And guess what, mate?
Yeah, natural
You're an
facts like
Islamic
this
hater.
one.
You're an
Let's
Islamic
like this
hater.
one. Let's look at this one.
You're a hater.
Sahih International reads, O two companions of prison, as for one of you, he will give drink to his master of wine, but as for the other, he will be crucified. So I've now given you two Muslim scholars who both say crucified and one Muslim scholar who says hanged from a cross. Are you willing to concede you were wrong?
No.
So this is the ignorance and the arrogance.
Enemy of Islam. Islam, and he will never extinguish the
Is
power of Allah.
Dr. Mustafa Khattab an enemy of Islam?
No.
He
I
says
don't know, I don't know,
crucified.
actually.
Dr. Mustafa Khattab, he says crucified. Is Sahih International an enemy of Islam?
No.
No, but they say crucified.
You're an enemy of Islam.
So do you disagree with them?
No.
So they say crucified.
Alhamdulillah.
So
then-
were you wrong?
Then I have to go back.
You said
No, I'm
the
not wrong.
Quran didn't have crucifixion in it. I've
What
just
about-
shown you.
What about in your book?
Now,
Jesus said,
now, one second.
you always
One
slander the
second.
Quran.
Now, one
You
second.
always slander Quran.
Now,
Quran.
one second.
Matthew.
Who was
10,
speaking at this
34.
time?
1 second.
Who
mate.
was speaking
1
at this
second, mate.
time?
Don't be too rude.
Who was
mate.
speaking
Don't
at
be
this
rude.
time?
Don't be rude.
Who was
Don't be
speaking?
rude. Are you afraid?
Jacob.
Are you afraid? I'm gonna read something from
Jacob
your book.
was reading.
Are you afraid of your book?
Jacob
Are you
was
afraid of your
reading.
book? I just said to you. that I don't
Jacob
have-
was reading.
I just said to you that it may be having it may have
It
different
says it, look,
meanings.
it says it, look,
Scholars
it
maybe
says
know
it
different
in
meanings.
1238, look. It says, I follow the faith of my fathers Abraham, Isaac and Jacob. It is not right for us to associate anything with Allah in worship. This is part of Allah's grace upon us. And, O my fellow prisoners, which is for better many different lords of Allah, the,
He's a non-Christian hater.
Okay.
He's not a Christian himself.
so, whatever idols you worship instead of him
Trying to show
are
you what
mere
he's
means.
saying with, like,
Are you
what he
listening?
believes.
Okay? The one that he's speaking, is talking in the time of the pharaohs. He's talking in the time of Egypt. Okay? Crucifixion wasn't invented at that time. We know who invented it. The Assyrians. And then the Babylonians invented it. The Assyrians improved it. The Persians popularized it. And the Romans perfected it. That's the quick history of
Hey,
crucifixion.
Where was Jesus from? Where was Jesus from?
That's not what's that got to do with this. What? Go on. What's this got to do with this? Your Quran.
I'll show you
Go on.
what's got to do with it.
Yeah.
Because Jesus, where was he from?
It was from Palestine.
From Palestine.
Yes.
What was he?
He was a Jew.
Jewish.
Yes. What's that got to do with crucifixion? In your Quran.
I'll show you.
Oh, go on. In your Quran. This passage.
What's that got to do with Christian? Allah knows best.
Allah, in other words, you don't know. You've been taken off your script, and like every other Dawa guy gang here, you're completely clueless. You're completely clueless.
I'm not Dr. Zakir Naik, you know. I don't know
When
everything in the
was
Bible.
crucifixion
Come on, man.
invented?
It was invented in the time of Jesus, peace be upon him.
No,
Jesus alayhi
you're
salam.
ignorant,
Let me tell
bro.
you, innit? Listen to
Right,
me.
let me tell you.
Why are
Let me
so
tell
rude?
you.
No,
Go on.
you're not listening.
Go on, tell us.
Listen.
Tell us.
Bro, in the time of Jesus, Isa bin Maryam alayhi salam, yeah?
Yeah.
Isa bin Maryam, yeah? In his time, the people, yeah, they crucified someone. But that wasn't Jesus. Jesus, we believe, was ascended to the heavens. God has got him there alive right now, and he's going to return. So I believe crucifixion came from that time,
Okay.
when they crucified the fake Jesus.
Right, now let me show you why you're wrong. This is quoting from the National US Library of Medicine from a paper. The paper is The History and Pathology of Crucifixion. Listen to what it says. In antiquity, crucifixion was considered one of the most brutal and shameful modes of death. Probably originating with the Assyrians and Babylonians, it was used systematically by the Persians in the 6th century. Alexander the Great brought it from there to the Eastern Mediterranean, countries in the 4th century before Christ. And the Phoenicians introduced it into Rome in the 3rd century. It was virtually never used in pre-Hellenic Greece. The Romans perfected crucifixion for 500 years until it was abolished by Constantine I in the 4th century. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, crucifixion came after the Quran said that it did. The Quran says that crucifixion came in the time of the Egyptians, the pharaohs. That is a historical error. We know where crucifixion came from, and it wasn't
That's a historical
Egypt.
error. The Quran is never ever a historical error. That's what you're reading is a historical error.
Based on what evidence?
Based on the evidence that they're human and they're not God.
Based on
The
what?
Quran is the word
That's
of
just
Allah,
your assertion.
The Lord of Jesus.
You're begging the
The
question.
Lord of Jesus is
That is
Allah.
your assertion.
Allahu Akbar is the Lord
That
of Jesus.
is your
On the day
assertion.
of judgment, you're gonna come
Who
to-
is Joseph?
Prophet Yusuf.
And what happened to Joseph?
What happened to him?
You see, he doesn't even know.
I know what happened to him. What you
So tell me,
what you believe
tell
about
me,
it. No.
tell us.
You told me what you believe
Tell
about
us.
it. No.
Because he doesn't know.
Rude.
He doesn't know his own
I
book.
believe he was chucked in the. I believe the whole
So
story.
what happened to Joseph?
When the rich, powerful woman was trying to seduce
Where?
him in the castle.
Of?
I know everything.
Of?
Don't worry.
Which country?
Don't worry.
Which country?
Explain to me your version.
Okay, let me explain it to him because he's a bit sketchy on the details.
You're
So Joseph,
your religion, though.
Joseph was thrown in prison,
You dilute your book.
and he was in prison in Egypt. Joseph is 1400 years BC. The Assyrians and the Babylonians are 800 years BC. Note the difference, some 600 years difference.
Okay, fair enough.
It was the
Can I speak?
Babylonians
Can I speak?
and the Assyrians that invented crucifixion.
Can I speak?
But the Quran says the following, putting words into the mouth of Joseph.
Can I speak?
When he was in prison with two of the companions of prison, this is what Joseph said. As to one of you, he will pour out the wine for his Lord to drink, and as for the other, he will be crucified. Crucifixion didn't even exist
How do you know that?
in 1400
How do you
years
know that?
BC.
How do you know that?
Great question. I will tell you.
Tell me.
Because of
How do
his...
you know? Was he
I'm
there?
going to tell you.
What would you
I'm
tell
going
me?
to tell you. Because you don't know.
don't know.
Like you didn't know that the Quran even had the word crucifixion in it. Like you didn't know the story of Joseph.
There's probably more to
Like
it,
you
I don't
didn't know that the translators agreed with me that the Quran used crucifixion. You didn't know because you're full of pride and your own arrogance and your own conceit
I know it's the truth.
and you have no
I know
humility.
the Quran is the word of God.
So how do we know
Allah.
that the Assyrians and the Babylonians were the ones that came up with crucifixion? Because their documents,
Alright, fair enough.
their material evidence talk about it. And there is no material evidence or talks about it before
Is Christianity a
this,
peaceful religion?
this document.
Is
Don't change the topic.
Is Christianity a peaceful
Why is
religion?
there an error in your Quran?
Why is there error in your Bible?
Don't
is
change
there
the
error in
topic.
your Bible?
Why are you getting away from this?
Why are you getting away from
Run
the
away.
Bible?
Why are you running away from
you
it?
always attack the Quran. Listen to one of your own verses.
Okay.
No, listen to
No,
one of your own
deal
verses.
with this.
Matthew 10,
Deal with this.
34, yeah?
Deal with this.
that. Deal with that.
Deal
mate.
with this.
Because our religion is a peace religion. Your religion
You're just-
is a war religion.
you're just trying to get off the
Listen,
topic.
Let me tell you.
Go
let
on,
me tell you.
try and get off the topic.
No,
Get
no,
up,
no
try and get off the topic.
He always slanders
We
the
were
Quran.
talking about
It's my time.
crucifixion, and he
It's
wants
my
to run
time.
away
It's my
from the
time, to be
topic.
fair.
That's what we're talking
It's fair.
about.
You know,
Go on.
He talks from Quran.
Go on.
Let me talk from,
Yeah,
Bible.
about
It's fair.
crucifixion. Let's talk about what the Bible says about crucifixion.
I'm going to talk to you about peace.
No, let's
You
talk about
claim
crucifixion.
Islam is a warlike religion. Yeah, cool. All right.
That's not what I've said here.
Matthew 10:34. Jesus, yeah? All right. Do not suppose that I have come to bring peace to the earth. No, I did not come to bring peace, but a sword. So what do you say about your book?
Okay.
That promotes violence.
So let me deal
You
with
come
this.
with a sword.
Let me deal with this.
Jesus came with. What do you mean?
Let me deal with
How
this.
are you going to deal with
Yeah.
that?
So, ladies and gentlemen, please note that his only response is to go back to his script, because that's what the Da'i do here in the corner.
No, they don't.
They have this pathetic, stupid little script that they use against Christians, and the moment you take them
So you're
off
calling
the
your own
script,
script pathetic?
the moment you take them off script,
He called his own script
they are
pathetic.
clueless
He called his own
about
script
how to
pathetic.
have a conversation.
He called his own
We're
scripture
talking
pathetic.
about what the Quran says about crucifixion, and he can't answer it. It's not in the script, so he wants to jump to his script that isn't even the topic. Here's what the Quran says in Surah 20, Ayah 71. Pharaoh. Where's Pharaoh? Egypt. When is Pharaoh? 1400 BC, 1200 BC. That's long before the Assyrians. That's long before the Babylonians, long before the Persians, long before the Romans. Those are the ones that gave us crucifixion. But here's what Pharaoh says. Believe ye in him before I give you permission. Surely this must be your leader who has taught you magic. Be sure I will cut off your hands and feet on opposite sides, and I will have you crucified on trunks of palm leaves. Crucified. Crucifixion did not exist
How
at
do you
this
know
time
that?
in history.
How do you know
Great
that?
question. Now let me answer.
Answer.
How do historians know anything about history? That's the question he's asking. They look for material evidence. So for instance, how do we know when the mobile phone was invented? Historically, what do? We look for the first mentions of the mobile phone. We look for the first usage of the mobile phone. And then we narrow down, because of the material evidence, the approximate time when mobile phones were invented. That's how you do history. And it's pretty good. I challenge you to do your experiment. Go away and research when the mobile phone was invented and try to find someone talking about the mobile phone before it was invented.
Okay.
You don't.
Okay.
Now,
The Bible, okay.
that means
Show me someone
when
who
historians
wrote the Bible. Show me
look
someone who wrote the
into
Bible at the time of Jesus.
who
He was
invented
born at the
crucifixion, they look for
Who
material
wrote the Bible?
evidence.
Who wrote the Bible?
They look for when
Who
people
wrote the
talk
Bible?
about
Who
crucifixion,
wrote the Bible?
depict crucifixion,
He's a liar.
institute crucifixion. And just like I promised, he wants to run away.
No running away.
The Quran is a 7th century document that is projecting crucifixion into a time that is ahistorical. It is an error in the Quran.
Perfect.
He's a big liar.
Originated
The
probably.
biggest liar ever.
Probably originated with
Yes.
the Assyrian, but the word probably means even a historian not can surely say that these can be started.
So let me deal with that. Let me deal with that. Yes, because that only supports my argument. So, brother, and you sound like an intelligent man, so I'd like to continue this conversation with you if you'd like. Would you like to come forward? Okay, so let me just deal with it. He wants to double down on that word probably. Well, that's fair, because if you do your research about when mobile phones were invented, you will come up with a probable date. That probable date could go plus or minus a whole decade, because it may have been invented before it became known.
Liar, there's no contradiction.
But, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about the Pharaoh of Egypt using crucifixion as a punishment, and there is no historical evidence that the Egyptians used crucifixion as a punishment. The first evidence that we get of anything that looks like crucifixion is from the Babylonians and the Assyrians, and then it was popularized by the Persians and then brought to Egypt. Did you all hear that? Brought to Egypt by Alexander the Great. It wasn't even known in Egypt until Alexander the Great in the 4th century BC. Which means when the Quran talks about crucifixion at the time of the pharaohs, you can be cast iron sure that this book is making it up and that this book is in error. How would you reply?
I really respect it. First, please don't take it that as a disrespect and no.
No, just to pick up your voice.
Sorry. First of all, I'm really thankful that you. Don't take that as a disrespect. It's just my question. Yeah, thank you for that. Sorry for that. If and excuse my language. If there's something like you don't understand, you can ask me again. If I look into the historical one, you know that Noah built the ark. But if we see in the Google, we search it about this ark, we don't go back somewhere Noah. You and we believe that the Noah was the one who built the ark. But our system, our history doesn't lead us towards the Noah. So please.
Okay.
I will listen now.
So firstly, thank you so much for engaging and being polite. So, ladies and gentlemen, because I've not got someone interrupting me now, I'm going to just speak at a normal volume. So if you can't hear me, you have to move in. Okay, it's just going to change. Well, bear with us 1 second. Okay.